This is the world news at 12 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent, and here are the top stories. Trump rules out Ukraine joining NATO ahead of Zelensky White House talks. Obedient movement decries vote buying in by-elections, demands end to cash and carry politics. EFCC recovers billions in refinery fraud, moves against the ex-NNPCL officials, and Akpabio returns from London, dismisses rumors of EU health. Details now. Thank you for staying tuned. The world news at 12 begins on the foreign scene, where Donald Trump has ruled out Ukraine joining NATO as part of a peace deal to end the Russia-Ukraine war ahead of meeting Volodymyr Zelensky and key European leaders at the White House. Trump says Zelensky can end the war if he wants to, but adds that Ukraine would not be able to reclaim the Crimean Peninsula illegally annexed by Moscow in 2014. Leaders from at least 5 European countries will join Zelensky at the White House in an extraordinary show of unity. Earlier, Trump's special envoy says Vladimir Putin has agreed to robust security guarantees for Ukraine, including a potential NATO-style defense arrangement. Back home in Nigeria, the Obedient movement has strongly condemned the conduct of Nigeria's recent by-elections held over the weekend, describing them as yet another display of cash and carry politics. In a statement signed by its national coordinator, Dr. Yunusa Tanko, the group expressed concern that Nigerians continue to sell their votes while hoping for good governance in return. According to the group, the process was reduced to an open market where stolen public wealth is freely deployed to buy silence and compromise the will of the people. He warned that until Nigerians reject the practice of vote trading and hold politicians accountable, corrupt leaders will continue to dominate the political space without consequences. He stressed that the consequences of selling votes go beyond elections, directly affecting citizens' access to essential public services. The movement further warned that Nigerians risk losing their collective future if they continue to trade votes for temporary gains. In the meantime, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has recovered over 5 billion naira and $10 million linked to massive fraud in the turnaround maintenance of Nigeria's refineries in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and Warri. Investigations revealed that contractors and senior officials of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, reportedly siphoned billions through inflated contracts, over invoicing, and questionable payments. The anti-graft agency is now preparing charges against some former and 7 NNPCL executives. According to EFCC insiders, the commission is also pursuing the recovery of an additional 10 billion naira and $13 million traced to fraudulent contractors engaged in refinery projects. BP News understands that the chairman of the EFCC, Ola Olukoide, is personally overseeing the probe. He is said to have expressed frustration that Nigeria's refineries remain comatose despite huge public funds committed to their rehabilitation. A senior EFCC officials confirmed that former management teams of the refineries have been interrogated several times. A total sum of $10 million and 5 billion naira have so far been recovered from contractors and government officials indicted in the fraud. More recoveries are underway, according to these sources. The commission is also examining fresh allegations of contract inflation amounting to $40 million, allegedly involving NNPCL officials and contractors tasked with procuring equipment for rehabilitation projects. With investigations concluded on several suspects, the EFCC is set to file charges against former officials of the NNPCL and refinery managers implicated in the multi-billion naira fraud. In a recent development, the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, has stated that President Bola Tinubu is using him to improve the Southeast. He argued that when the presidency is zoned to the Southeast, he deserves to be at the forefront because of his performance. The minister made the remark in a video shared on social media on Sunday. According to him, all Southeast governors are backing President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid in 2027. Let's take a listen to the Minister of Works, Senator Dave Umahi, saying this.
the President Bola Tinubu's second term. I saw a man that was running his mouth, and the man was saying the only place that you have, 100% support, a man has his region intact. Is in the southeast, and he was talking of my brother Peter. If when the presidency will come to southeast, I should be at the forefront because of my performance. And I've asked for debate. Anybody that feels otherwise, I created something out of this Ebonyi state. God used me to do it, and so we compare, governor to governor time. And compare what you have done for Southeast. I beat my chest and said, listen, God has used me, President Bola has used me to better the laws of Southeast. You can tell me when else we had it this good. And so boldly we are saying that the governors of Southeast are supporting, the President Bola Tinubu's second term.
Umahi's declaration comes almost 2 months after he announced that political leaders in the southeast are planning a summit to declare their support for President Tinubu in May. The minister, in a State House documentary packaged to commemorate the president's second anniversary, declared that all southeast governors, regardless of their political affiliations, will support President Bola Tinubu's administration. According to him, the southeast is witnessing a new wave of federal attention and infrastructure development under this administration. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has returned to Nigeria in the wee hours of today after what his media office described as a short vacation in London. Akpabio arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja at about 4 a.m. and was received at the presidential wing by senators, aides, and supporters. His return comes amid rumors on social media he was critically ill and hospitalized in London. Speaking with journalists at the airport, Akpabio dismissed the reports describing them as the imagination of the purveyors. He says there's nothing as such as he's fit as a fiddle and only stopped over in London for a short vacation. The Senate President had earlier attended the 6th World Conference of Speakers of Parliament in Geneva, Switzerland from July 29 to 31 before proceeding to the United Kingdom. Now joining me to discuss this and other issues on the world news at 12 today, I have Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. He's a legal luminary. Barrister, good afternoon. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Chuma. Good afternoon for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine. And you?
Great. I'm doing very well. Thank you. Let's get right into the conversation, beginning with the Minister of Work saying if anyone from the Southeast, if the presidency will be zoned to the Southeast at any time, he's the one who deserves to be at the forefront and not Peter Obi or anyone else. He's saying regardless of what anybody else has to say, the Southeast will support, all Southeast governors are supporting President Tinubu in 2027. One would ask, does that include Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State, who is a governor under the PDP? Does that include Governor Alex Oti of Abia State, who is a governor under the Labour Party?
You're working from south, or any person that feels that is from the south and also a stakeholder, it talk about all of them. Because you talk about the qualification for this election. If you are above 30, above 40, and you have a extra qualification, you have been than that, you are qualified to be there. So if you say he's more qualified, he's selling himself, and it is within his right to sell himself. He has the right to talk about himself being qualified or most qualified to be the president. There are other people who also say the same thing. So it's a matter for people to determine or to decide when time comes. But what I see is that it's just for him selling himself, and I won't blame him for that. He has the right under the Constitution to say whatever he wants to say about himself, or to even aspire to be president. But whether he's most qualified or not, that is a matter for the people to determine, not for him.
As much as he's selling himself and putting himself out there to say, oh, I'm good for the presidency, I'm good to go. But what about him saying that all Southeast governors, regardless of their political affiliations, will support President Bola Tinubu, will eventually support him, even if they are not supporting him now? Is that to say that there are some political machinations in the work to bend their hands to make sure that they are supporting the president? Because if we are to put into perspective the by-elections that just happened, APC swept most of the seats. In the local government elections last month in Lagos, APC swept most of the seats except one that was won by the PDP in a constituency in Yaba. So is that the APC positioning itself ahead of 2027 to sweep all seats in the general elections?
Of course, are you expecting different from this election? But we are in a country where people don't have confidence in our electoral process again, and you can see the number of people in attendance. I was listening to result being announced in a particular state yesterday. I think Oyo State, out of breath. The technique that won the election was said to have won score 18,000 votes. 18,000 for about 4 local governments. The election has covered about 4 local governments or more, or even or maybe by. So it shows that the people are not interested. People are not willing to participate very well, and that's why it's to the advantage of the politicians. They are happy with it. They don't even want you to participate. So when people think they're not participating, they are doing back into the people in politics. They are doing themselves, not the politicians. Whether you vote or not, even if 10 people that voted, the result will be announced based on that 10 number people that voted. So it's not for us to abandon the process. Like I said, like you said, for your question, the APC is presenting himself very, very well to capture the 2027 and to make it easy for himself. And even the governors of even the opposition party, some of them are making it easy for the APC to do that because of their own personal interest. And that's how you see somebody in PDP will be declining to support somebody in APC. You see somebody in ABGA saying he will support the presidency in APC when the party has its own candidate. So the APC is doing well in that regard, trying to bring everybody on board. And it's unfortunate for us. It's not going to help the institution and the country. It's good for the APC, but it's not good for the country because there may not be proper development or progress in that. One party affair.
All right, quite unfortunate, Barrister Tundi Abdulhamid, like you have said, but shining the spotlight on the by-elections in Ogun State, security operatives actually arrested some officials of the PDP state chapter and 2 INEC staff in a hotel around Ikperu, Remo. Now, in a video that went viral, we could see an interrogator with these people squatting, being asked questions, they were being hit, and these INEC officials, according to security operatives, confessed that they were giving money, which, it's reportedly or allegedly for vote buying during the election. This is coming from the PDP, this PDP state chapter in Ogun State. And we know how the PDP has been very critical of this current administration, calling them corrupt, talking about how the APC is involved in vote buying, rigging, and all of that electoral malfeasance. But this is what's happening in Ogun State.
Yeah. You see, when you talk about the vote buying, and it has become part of our system illegally, unfortunately so. It's become part of it. And it is gaining weight because people who have been involved in it have not been punished. In the last 2023 election, there are so many people that were told that have been arrested, or there are so many people who have been alleged to have done vote buying. How many of them are in court today? How many of them are having their days in custody or or being interviewed by the police? How many of them were questioned? So if you don't punish people for crime, you will encourage more people to commit that kind of crime. So the vote buying, we are saying it, we are talking about it, but nothing is being done to prevent it in terms of taking steps against those who are committing that kind of a crime. There is no punishment. So if you fail to punish, you encourage other people to do so. So it's unfortunate that this is happening. That man and unfortunately again, I will have to give kudos to you. Most media stations are not highlighting that. They are not even making a point of a discussion so that it will become an issue, so that person will be able to, and the government will do something about it. But if this part of be something like social media, a lady doing something or whatever, you will see it everywhere. It will be the subject of discussion in every media. The issue of the man that was arrested is not prominent in our news today. People are not highlighting it. People are not making it. They are not broadcasting it to make it go viral so that people will know that look, this happened, so that government will be forced to take action against that person. But nothing has happened. And as long as we don't punish people for crime, we'll continue to encourage other people to commit crime.
The PDP in Ogun State has come out to say that this report or the video was orchestrated to give them a bad name. It was a ploy to intimidate them and disenfranchise their members during the by-election. It was a plot really to give them a bad name, like giving a dog a bad name in order to kill it. This person is saying when his hotel room was broken into, he only had 100,000 naira in that room, and it wasn't enough for vote buying.
Yeah. Like I said, the problem is that we are always having one-sided story in the country. And most times there won't be investigation for people to unravel the allegations so that we know which one who is saying the right thing or who is saying the wrong thing. It's unfortunate. This is their word against their word. I don't know which one is correct, but it's not impossible in our country where you see people being what's it called? Being plant. Why you see people planting something to implicate certain people in crime. It's not impossible, but they need to have to. There's a need for investigation to be able to unravel the situation. But the unfortunate thing is that there may not be any investigation. That is the problem.
But Barrister Tunji, let's go to Kaduna State, where the PDP House of Reps candidate and 25 others were abducted, right? The Kaduna PDP came out to give a press conference that Saturday morning that their members, in fact, the candidate who was going for that election on that particular day was abducted, and they were blaming the state governor for that abduction. This is just a by-election, and something like this is happening. What happens during the state and during the general elections?
All the news are unfortunate. They are unfortunate news, and they are news that are not palatable to us. You see, the kind of system we are running is the reason why this is possible. Our system is not working the way to work. Those who are supposed to be it provides the election and ensure security are provided. Some of them are alleged to be involved in those issues. You remember when those state election, governorship election, period to that, before that election, some people who are members of PDP who have been chased on the allegation that they are investigating them for crime. And after the election, no more investigation. That is to tell you that it was deliberately to frustrate them from participating in that election. So similar thing, they are like that what happened yesterday that you just talked about, may likely be in that category. So I will not say, the news is still fresh and it's still building. We don't have much detail, but let's get more far thereafter and then know whether or not it's deliberate or not. But what I'm trying to say is that as long as the INEC, the security agencies are not neutral, there is no way we can have a free and fair election.
All right, talking about neutrality, there was actually a situation you talked about that you're from Oyo State. The ADC candidate for the Ibadan North Federal Constituency raised allegations of large-scale vote buying. Meanwhile, earlier on that day, security operatives had actually arrested a suspected vote buyer with cash, about 25.9 million naira, let's just say approximately 26 million naira, in Kaduna, barely hours before the election. This was very early in the morning, just before 4 a.m. This person was moving with 26 million naira cash, suspected to be for vote buying. So are we saying the politicians can release this amount of money in order to induce people to vote for them, knowing fully well that when they get into office, they will not be doing anything to better the lives of the people? And also, would you blame Nigerians for vote selling, right? See it as things are very expensive and many people are just living for the now because they don't know what tomorrow will be like.
Let me start with the last question. Why will I not blame Nigerians? Why would you sell your phone for 5,000 naira? And then maybe some people don't even know the importance of that photo. They don't know that that in that photo, in that car they have the picture of their children inside it. They don't know that in that voting card they have the good quality education inside it. They have quality health center inside it. They have quality life inside it. They have quality housing inside it. Why will we now sell it for 5,000 naira? How will you now get it back? 5,000 naira divided by 4 years. How much will you do it? How much will you spend in a day? 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira, or let's even say at most 20K for that vote. Divided by 4 years. Is that enough for you for 4 years? Because when you throw your vote to somebody and you expect that person to come and perform, you are joking. You have already given him. He bought it from you, and he can use it the way he likes.
But when poverty has been weaponized, when the people cannot feed, when people live from hand to mouth,
that cannot be an excuse. That is why people should be angry and vote them out and try to bring people that will not make them make poverty be their way of life. So if there is not an excuse to say poverty, it is not an excuse at all. If you are talking about poverty, that means everybody can. Who's not hungry? Are you not hungry? Are you not hungry? Are you satisfied with all the things? Are you getting them? It's about money. It's not about not eating alone. Okay. After that 5,000 naira, and you eat today, will you not eat tomorrow again? Will you come back? Will you go and collect another one from them? When you say poverty, that's why
a lot of people just want to make do with what they can find in the moment. During the local government elections,
and they will cover for 4 years and they go.
But during the local government elections in Lagos, we saw on Lagos Island where they were sharing food, and I'm talking about would I call it exotic food now? They were sharing crabs. They were sharing pounded yam and soup, fried rice and jollof. When last did some people eat crab and snail?
That's not where your votes now. That is, you can get a food and eat now, and you can allow your conscience to work.
Oh, they will definitely stand by to ensure that you vote for the person they want you to vote for when you are collecting their food.
No, they will not. They will not go with to use. You see, these excuses we are giving, it will not give us any right system. You can't be giving this excuse. It's not an excuse for me. It's not an excuse, even though I admit that there's hungry in the land. The people are hungry. There's poverty in the land. Then if you continue to give this excuse, we'll continue to get the kind of people who are getting in position of authorities. And the hungry, the poverty will continue, will even multiply. That is the point I'm making. So you can't you sacrifice food for one day that if there's no election and that food is not given to you that day, will you die?
The National Orientation Agency
so if for taking that food for that day, it's what will make you be alive, or what will kill your poverty, or what will kill your hunger for life. We need to sacrifice in this country. We will continue to blame the politicians, whereas we are not also doing our own parts. We in the excuse of poverty and hungry. So if you cannot sacrifice for a day or to ignore 5,000 naira. So what is the guarantee that you do the right thing if you give the opportunity?
More than 5,000 naira by
so for me, I don't want to take that as an excuse. Again, the fact that people are it's an offense to have a certain number of cash in your hand. Then if they are taking people and saying they are charging them for vote buying, it will be difficult for them to win that case. Because the fact that you found money in my pocket does not mean I want to buy votes. The only thing that I see is that money will go beyond what is the law required that you must have in your custody as tax. So then if you go in that manner, then they can get something from them. But if you talk about vote buying, it will be difficult for them to prove it as ability. Because the fact that I have money in my pocket or in my wardrobe or in my house that big or whatever does not mean I want to buy votes. So I'm not saying the money may not be meant for vote buying. I'm saying that if the government if anybody is being arrested in that regard, and you are going with that story that because you find him with a social number of a social amount of money, therefore he wants to buy food. That's an assumption.
You're saying they should be able to prove the allegations of vote buying. I got a report from someone in Edo State that in some places they were paying as much as 50,000 naira in last week by-election in order for people to vote for certain parties.
The point I'm making is that for you to establish this, there must be evidence. And the burden of establishing it is not on the person who collected the money or the person you are charging to court. If you don't know, I may not even see anything. If I'm arrested for that, I may not even see anything. The responsibility of them proving that money was meant for me to buy food or to buy food is on the person who arrested me or who is taking me to court, not me. I did not see anything. I'm not under obligation to even give any evidence to that effect. I laugh when I hear people say he's making allegations. He has not come up with any evidence. Somebody has been alleged. You are asking him to come up with evidence. It's not him that should come up with evidence. It's the person that is alleging him that should come up with evidence.
All right.
That's our law. That's our law.
Barrister, so because of our time, okay?
Vote buying has become part of our system. And it will continue if care is not taken. Because the political offices are now seen as a means of making money, not service. So, and people are encouraging it because they are ready to collect the money.
All right,
so, as long as you are ready to collect money from them, they will continue to buy from you.
All right, then. Barrister Tunjil Abdulhamid, for a minute or two, I want you to speak on the EFCC recovering billions in refinery fraud and also moving to charge some former NNPCL officials to court. Sources within the EFCC are saying that they've recovered 5 billion naira and $10 million linked to massive fraud in turnaround maintenance of Nigeria's refineries in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and Warri. In some document that the investigators reviewed, we could see they saw that about 1.5 billion was allocated to Port Harcourt Refinery, $740 million to Kaduna, $656 million to Warri, and yet none of these facilities has operated optimally for years. The country has been dependent on imported petroleum products.
You not celebrate this news, though.
You do not celebrate this news. Why not?
I will not. There are so many this kind of stories that we have been told. How many of them are in court today? How many of them are facing any criminal charge in court? Until I see them in court, until I see the kind of charge they file against them, until I see the seriousness on the part of the people who want to prosecute them, until I see some of the evidence they rely upon before I can celebrate it. I will not celebrate those people have been I see this as just media publicity and the media outbursts as far as I'm concerned. Let them take the proper action. Let those people who have been elected. Were they named? Why are they hiding their names? If that was to be one people be from somewhere or people from somewhere or community from somewhere, I don't know. Will they not be facing the camera now? Everywhere. Why are they not being named? Why are they keeping their names? If they have not finished their investigation, why are they coming out to us to tell us? Because they will say they are still investigating. That's why they don't want to give their name out. Or because also they are it's an allegation. So if it's an allegation, keep it to yourself until you concluded the allegation and then it comes to us. I will not celebrate it. I will not. If it's still a developing news, I will not celebrate it because I know this is not the first time that similar story have been told and nothing happened thereafter. So I see concrete steps being taken, concrete action being taken, concrete results being achieved. Then I will not celebrate. That's my own question.
Thank you so much, Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. Because of our time, I'll have to end the conversation here. But I do appreciate you for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, and have an amazing day. You have been listening to the World News at 12, right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that Trump has ruled out Ukraine joining NATO ahead of Zelensky's White House talks. Obedient Movement decries vote buying in by-elections, demands end to cash and carry politics. EFCC recovers billions in refinery fraud, moves against former NNPCL officials, and Akpabio returns from London, dismisses rumors of ill health. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Chioma Innocent. Please follow our social media handles at VOP903FM. For coverage of your live event and brand news mentions in our news bulletins, do send a mail to news@voiceofthepeople.ng. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.